Apple Silicon Macs are very powerful and capable of delivering high performance. After trying out Ubuntu on a virtual machine on Apple Silicon, I was amazed by the performance. If the virtual machine is delivering peak performance, then imagine Ubuntu running on bare metal. Unfortunately, as of now, Ubuntu cannot be installed on bare metal, but there are some other developers who manage to run Linux desktop bare metal on Apple Silicon. This is Asahi Linux, aka Arch Linux ARM edition running on M1 Mac. In this video, I'm going to show you how to install Asahi Linux on M1 Mac. This is a step-by-step installation tutorial, so make sure to watch the video till to the end to avoid any confusion. Now, without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so this is my MacBook Air with an M1 chip running the latest version of Mac OS Monterey. To install Asahi Linux on M1 Mac as a part of dual boot, you need to reserve a free space of 60 GB or higher. Then open your browser and head over to the official website of Asahi Linux. You can click here to learn more about Linux on Apple Silicon. If you scroll a bit, you will see a download option. By the time of making this video, Asahi Linux was in the alpha stage, and the beta version is expected to be released by the end of this year. So stay tuned for that and subscribe to my channel to see a future content of Asahi Linux. For now, click on the announcement link and you can read the system requirements. As of now, Asahi can be installed on a Mac with M1, M1 Pro, and M1 Max. Anyway, copy this line of text, then paste it inside a terminal. Make sure your Mac is connected to the faster internet to download the Asahi Linux. Now, as you can see, the version of the installer and prompting to enter the sudo password. Now, once you type your passcode, you can see the information of the installer along with a documentation link. Now, press the Enter key to continue. Then type N to skip the expert mode. And you can see the information about Mac OS and the related partitions. Before creating a free space for Asahi Linux, go ahead, open another tab and type this command. Now look for the internal drive and remember these 4 partitions which are related to Mac OS. Just take a screenshot that is needed in the last step. Now type R to resize the Mac OS partition to make a free space for Asahi Linux. You can enter the new size for your existing partition by entering the size in % or gigabytes. The best way to shrink the free space is to type min for minimum, and the installer will figure out the required space for Asahi. As you can see, out of 100 GB, the installer allocated 36 GB for Mac OS and 65 GB for Asahi Linux. Then type Y to continue. This will take some time, so please be patient. Now go ahead and press the Enter key to continue. As you can see, this is the free space we have allocated. Then type F to install the Asahi Linux into that free space. Now choose option 1 to install the full version of Asahi Linux with Plasma Desktop. Then confirm the installer to use the free space that we allocated by typing max. Now name the Asahi Linux and press the Enter key to start installing. This will take around 15 to 30 minutes, so sit back, relax, and grab some drinks. As you can see, the installation is complete and you will be prompted to enter your Mac OS admin password. Now at this point, we are done with the first step and you can see clear instructions for step number 2 to complete the installation of Asahi Linux. You can read these instructions and follow me carefully. This is where you need to be very cautious. Anyway, now press the Enter key to shut down your Mac. Wait for at least 30 seconds, then press and hold the power button until you see a message saying loading startup options. Now this will take you to the one true boot, where it shows all the bootable volumes that has an operating system. Using the arrow key, select the Asahi Linux and press the Enter key to boot into Mac OS recovery. As you can see, the terminal has opened and waiting for user input. Just press Enter to continue. Now type the username and password of the Mac OS administrator to change the boot policies. Then type Y to confirm the changes. Again, enter the admin username and password of Mac OS to complete installing Asahi Linux. Voila, now you can see the installation is complete and press the Enter key to reboot. Now this will boot your Mac into Asahi Linux, which is running on bare metal. Go ahead and set up the Asahi Linux for the first time. I just want to say in one word, Asahi Linux on Apple Silicon is mind-blowing. The performance is top-notch, but considering the fact that it's an alpha build, most of the things like hardware acceleration, brightness, and sound from internal speakers are not working. As of now, Asahi Linux is the only distribution that runs on bare metal on M1 Mac. I believe the support will be extended to M2 Macs in the future. So stay tuned to my channel. I will post a review of Asahi Linux and update the link in the description. If in case you decide to switch to Mac OS, first turn off Asahi Linux, then press and hold the power button until you see a message saying loading startup options. Again, we are back to the boot menu. Just remember, holding the power button for 10 seconds will take you to the boot menu where you can see both Mac OS and Asahi entries. You can choose Mac OS Monterey to boot into it. This is a perfect dual boot setup on Apple Silicon Mac with Linux and Mac OS. When you are inside Mac OS, open the startup disk and change the boot order. You can choose Mac OS to boot automatically whenever you reboot your system from any OS. As a bonus part of this video, if in case you decide to delete Asahi Linux from the dual boot, just boot back to Mac OS, then head over to the disk utility. From the menu bar, choose View and select Show All Devices. Now from the sidebar, choose Apple SSD and click on the partition. If you notice, these partitions are created by Asahi Linux and we need to delete them. To do so, open the terminal, type distkutil list. Now if you look under the internal drive, partitions 3, 4, 5 are the main volumes of Asahi Linux. You can bring up the screenshot that we took while installing Asahi and compare it with the current partition mapping. Now out of 3, look for the Asahi EFI partition. In my case, disk 0S4 is the identifier of this partition. Now in your case, it may be different, just note down that identifier. Then we need to erase this partition. To do so, type this command and provide a partition identifier. Make sure to provide the correct identifier, then press the Enter key to erase this volume. Once it's erased, open the disk utility. Then choose Apple SSD and click on the partition. These are the 3 partitions of Asahi Linux. Delete them one by one. Do not touch the first and last 2 partitions. Once it's deleted, the free space will be added back to the Mac OS. Now if you reboot your system to the one true boot, you will see there is only one bootable volume. And Asahi Linux is completely deleted from the system. And that's pretty much it. This is how you properly install Asahi Linux on M1 Mac alongside with Mac OS. If in case you like this video, hit the thumbs up down there and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button to get notified whenever I post a brand new video. Thanks for watching my video. This has been KSK Ryle. I will see you in my next one.